Hey, welcome back. The Ray program, 844-RAY show. If you want to talk about this, I just, by the way, Gene Pastula, CFP, with me. Gino, you brought this up. In fact, you and I talked about this a week or so ago, and I found this fantastic article. In fact, I have emailed this article to a few people when I've talked about this before, and you can write this down or kind of remember it. Michael Kitces wrote it. He's a really smart propeller head type guy. The taxation of Social Security benefits as a marginal tax rate increase. We were just discussing this, and I'll try to find the old quote here. He says this: planning strategies should be done based on marginal tax rates, which means the leaps in marginal tax rates from including Social Security benefits can and should be a material factor in planning. Exactly what Mr. Pastula was saying, especially since the rates have the greatest impact on those whose income is relatively modest and may not realize they're exposed to a 27.75% or even a 46.25% marginal tax rate when they thought they were just in the 15 or 25% tax rate. I think I said something like that. And the way you get to that 46% or 27% income tax rate instead of a 15 or a 25% tax rate has to do with how much of that Social Security benefit is being released to be taxed in your on your tax return. And it's a little bit above the pay grade of my guest and me today to cover that in great detail, but just understand that planning becomes critical. Now, Gene, my feeling is this: individuals, whether you're rich, poor, or somewhere in the middle, should be focusing on creating multiple sources of income. Taxable accounts, like your brokerage account, managed in a tax-efficient way. Tax-deferred accounts, such as annuities, or I should say tax-preferred accounts, such as annuities. Tax-deferred accounts, such as 401ks and IRAs. And tax-free accounts such as Roth IRAs and life insurance policies, one of your areas of expertise. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. By blending all four of those, you now give yourself options at retirement. For example, you must take a required minimum distribution from an IRA at age 70 or a 401k, correct?
Correct.
You don't have to take a distribution from a deferred annuity at age 70, correct?
Correct.
A municipal bond is taxable for purposes of your Social Security, correct?
Correct.
A tax-deferred annuity is not.
Correct.
So when we start adding up all of the, I'm not saying municipal bonds are bad or annuities are bad or anything's bad. I'm just saying having flexibility in your retirement plans makes a lot of sense. What say you, my friend?
Well, in fact, it's interesting because now I am in that point in life where I'm actually applying all these different theories.
You're an old fogey.
Yes, I am.
You have required minimum. Go ahead and tell the people.
Yeah,
Don't
this
hide
year,
behind it.
my first required minimum distribution. It just, it pains me. But the interesting thing is that I haven't really personally concentrated on this, year to year, whatever. And maybe it's just because, I was kind of aware of it in the teaching that I've done and in the area of concentration that I've had. It was just kind of important in part of it, but I never really thought of it actually, in my own planning or my own investing. But it came out that way.
Should have come to your buddy here. I would have taken care of it for you.
Well, actually, it came out okay anyway.
Good.
A lot of things in my life happen that way. I don't pay attention, and it just happens. I don't know. In any event, what I'm noticing now is that I do have this diversification. I just happen to have it like that, and so I have more ability to invest, for example, in opportunities where it takes a significant amount of money or portion of my money, lump sum or whatever, to invest in it and get the benefit of it that I couldn't do if it was mostly IRA money or 401k or that type of thing. I run into people all the time that 90% of their retirement wealth is all in their qualified plans. And it's amazing how that restricts what they can do intelligently going forward, because they have to take into consideration, significant tax apps. There are no tax shelters, if you will, from money coming out of a qualified plan. It's all ordinary income.
It's all be taxable.
Nothing you can do
correct.
about it. Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up, because one of the topics, and I don't know if we can get into this now or later, but I was reading this: Obama budgets retirement savings cap targets wealthy. In other words, what President Obama in his budget has recommended is that individuals that have more than $3.4 million in their IRA will have to pay a severe tax penalty because they're too rich. They're the Mitt Romneys, so to speak. This was to get around the Mitt Romney IRA thing, and it resonates very well with the lower income, because who's going to complain about that? But here's where the rub is, and a lot of people just don't think it through, including this administration. $3.4 million. So they said, how much is enough? I always love it when the government makes a decision for you as to how much is enough for you to retire on. How much is enough for you to get out of a retirement account? Well, they're saying $200,000 a year. Right. And to get $200,000 a year, they work backwards, they reverse engineer it to a $3.4 million lump sum annuity purchase. Not that you have to purchase an annuity, that's how they come up with the calculation. Now, what they haven't thought through, and I have, is this. Interest rates are at historic lows. Annuity rates for lifetime income annuities are as low as I've ever seen in my entire career, 40 years now. Probably you too, Gino. So clearly, if you're buying a $200,000 lifetime income annuity, it takes $3.4 million. But if interest rates go back to 5%, where they were, 10 years ago, that number's $2.2 million. $2.2 million. Now, I get the fact that that's a lot of money for the average person out there, the average person listening. But do we really want to be restricted that way? Do we want to disincentivize people? I mean, I pull out the calculator all the time for somebody that's 40 years old, and I say, you know what? If you max out your 401k, and if you get the company match, and then your wife or your heirs or whatever can max out their 401ks, and you leave money to your kids, they're going to have a rollover IRA, and it could be worth more than the $2.2 million. And then all of a sudden they're closed out. This is a dumb thing, and it disincentivizes those who are successful savers.
There's so many aspects to it, and the interesting thing is that it all boils down to each individual situation, how he has to or she has to deal with it, and that's what's really important.
Okay, well, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, we're going to solve this problem for you and help you understand how you can allocate from among tax deferred, tax preferred, tax free, and taxable investments. It's all important, and it's all part of being a good financial advisor, which Gene Pastula is. Don't go away. It's the Ray Lucia Show. 844-RAY SHOW. 844-729-7469. Emails at raylucia.com. RAYLUCIA.com. Back in a flash.